Good evening. Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm about to give a really unpopular opinion, and I'm sure it's going to be especially unpopular amongst women.
I'm Gray Mars. Break a record by being with 100 men in one day. And right after she was done, she recorded a documentary.
I'm a vegan weed. Call yourself fresh and wear the same weak ass turtleneck on every show. Goddamn. Then we got goddamn the Sudanese Sambo. Bruh, man.
And I'm Enzo.
Bringing up in my lives is they're like, oh well, he's violating the Constitution by having a meme coin and him making money off it in office and everything like that. I was like, if that was the case, like there would be lawsuits up the ass and impeachment inquiry.
I'm skeptic. Like I always say, don't let anybody trample on your constitutional rights.
I'm Mia. That's not a correct power dynamic in my mind. Typically, the people that are trying to be removed are not in control. That's why they're easily being removed.
Yo, that was fire.
Yeah.
I like that, though. I like that.
The person that's dealt with some people in the industry, I can personally tell you, most of them are bullshit. Most of them got something going on and they're crazy, and they will have you. I'm talking about they'll have you crazy.
Yeah, you look professional, bro. You look real professional.
Switch happened. Come on, man. You gotta acknowledge this. This is the problem that I have with elders like you, because you fail to acknowledge that this stuff has happened. We down.
And that mean I'm doing my job.
Hey. If we sit there and be old school, we gonna miss the boat. You know, a lot of this kids 19 years old buying houses with Bitcoin, buying Maserati.
Wow.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Gray Mars.
I guess that's the concept. This is not a nice business. I guess that's the concept. If snakes are fast, but alligators are, but we're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison, how to run away. Don't run in a straight line. Run like this. And you know what? Your chances go up about 1%, okay? Not a good thing.
We're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two, so they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now, that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended, but you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done. This is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to
at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility, so if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here, to be honest. Or 72.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here, okay? He wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here, that son of a bitch.
Disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
What's up? I'm Ethan.
I'm Kamal. And I'm Enzo.
And tonight on the new party, we have a very special guest, Ethan. Ethan is going to be on the Un-F America tour. We had a nice dialogue before. So let everybody know what the Un-F America tour is, Ethan, and where the next stop's going to be.
Right. So, hey everyone, like the host said, I'm Ethan and I'm with Unfuck America. So essentially what Unfuck America is the left does not have a Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA, every conservative is going to agree, is an incredibly effective organization. If you like them or dislike them, however you feel, you cannot deny that they are effective at what they do. And that is turn young people into conservatives. And the left, what do they have in counter to that? Before Unfuck America, literally nothing. And so I've joined up with them, and we are going to Tampa, Florida on July 12th. We're going to be going to the Turning Point event and I'll be having interviews challenging people at the event. But after that, we're going to be renting out a venue and having a debate night against MAGA content creators. We're going to be starring Destiny or Stephen Bunnell, however you know him. He's an incredible left-wing debater. And yeah, I'm really excited to be there. Destiny will be there along with me and other content creators. We'll be debating MAGA influencers. So yeah, I'm really hyped for that.
Oh man, y'all didn't get Enzo. You should have had him. I'm just kidding. Enzo,
I mean,
y'all come up north.
If you're game, man, I'd love to invite you.
When you guys come up north, I'll definitely stop by.
I got you.
I heard they were going to do one in NYU or whatever before the whole breakup happened with Dean and Parker, and I was hyped for that.
Yeah,
I heard the rumors about that. I wanted to see that.
I joined after the breakup thing happened, so the rumors before and after, I'm not sure. But I want to also say that if you want to get tickets to go see the events, you can go to unfuckamerica.com, unfuckamericatour.com, I apologize. And there's an events page, and you can get tickets. I think they're currently like $5 right now. So if you're in the Tampa area, I would love to have you over there.
Well, definitely go check it out, guys. It'll be a good event. I might come check it out. That sounds pretty interesting. We will be at Turning Point that Friday. Gray Mars, myself, and 85 Slim, for those of you that are fans of us. We'll be walking around, getting interviews. I'll have my MAGA hat. Hopefully I won't get beat up, but I'll be out there. But anyways, guys, so our first topic of the night is about Alcatraz, or alligator Alcatraz. And so, Gray, we are Floridians. What is your thoughts? I showed you guys lots of clips. I wanted to show you guys what the facility looked like. Do you think this is a waste of American dollars, or do you think this is needed?
First, y'all just talked about Tampa. I have my Bucks jacket on. I am a Tampa Bay resident. And me and Ron DeSantis actually went to the exact same high school. So we're from the exact same area. I think it's crazy. I know they try to put prisons in a place like where a person can't escape. But I think just like using the wildlife, I saw AI pictures where they had the alligators with the ice hats on. I thought that was a little extreme. But Trump is a showman. He's going to give you a show. So I feel like it's more of an attention thing. Like it's like, okay, how can we get people to talk about this? Oh, you know what? Alligators. We're going to put it by alligators, and then everybody's going to talk about it.
Exactly. I mean, I have mixed feelings on it, and I'll give my opinion at the end. Enzo, what's your thoughts? You're kind of a Floridian yourself. Is this needed?
Yeah, so like you said, I have mixed feelings about it too. But at the end of the day, I think it's kind of awesome in a way. I mean, naming it Alligator Alcatraz is pretty crazy, and then the AI pictures with the ice hats on it's pretty fucking hilarious to me. And I just realistically, I heard about it like 2 weeks ago, where they were like talking about it. Then they got funding for it, and 8 days later, here we are. We have a fucking detention center. I'm sorry, we have a detention center set up in the Everglades that's pretty much you can't get there unless it's a one way in on the road and then the airstrip. Like it's not really needed. I will say that, but with what's happening going on with certain Democrats showing up to ICE facilities trying to budge their way in, who really wants to go out into the Everglades? This is coming from somebody who used to live in the Everglades, or not in the Everglades, lived in Florida. You just go fishing into the Everglades. It's scary out there. Like you're in the middle of nowhere, and this is 60 miles out from civilization. They probably don't even have cell service out there. So they're probably going to be bugging. That's what I'm looking at now is you don't have the crazy Democrats trying to break in there and try to get these people out because they say it's inhumane. I mean, we've seen the inside of it. It looks pretty standard to me. So we'll see what they do with it. If Ron DeSantis does exactly what they're saying about it and it expedites getting people out by deputizing the National Guard, I don't have a problem with that because they're not going to sit there that long. So we'll see what happens.
Ethan, what's your thoughts? Is this a waste of American dollars or is this needed?
Is it a waste or is it needed? To that, I don't know how many ICE detention centers Florida currently has. I'll say I like the idea of having strong borders. I do like the idea of enforcing, our border laws, right? And maybe some people give me flack for that, but at the end of the day, we do need to have enforcement of that. However, the question that I would really like to ask is this the kind of rhetoric that we want to be pushing, right? In the sense of, just jokingly talking about, rounding up people with like alligators with the ice hats, right? Like, because these people that we're putting in these detention centers, they're still people, right? It's kind of making me think about like when we had those videos, those ASMR videos before of like people in chains, right? This is incredibly dehumanizing, and this coming from the United States government is disgusting. This is the kind of president that we're trying to set when we're the most powerful nation in the world, when we want to dehumanize these people who have real families, who have real backgrounds. Is it needed? Maybe. I don't know. I need to do more research into it. But is that kind of message needed? Absolutely not. It's disgusting.
There's 4 ICE facilities to answer that question. One in Miami-Dade, one in Broward County, one in Collier County or Glades County, and one in Baker County. Baker County is the northeast and near Jacksonville. I can tell you, I've been to those facilities. They are brutal. I had a family member in the Miami-Dade facility. It's hot. It's disgusting. There's roaches and rats everywhere. They are worse than prisons sometimes. So I will tell you from experience, it is not no place to go to. It's interesting they say they have AC, but Buana had brought up a good point, and I'm going to get to that after Kamal goes. Kamal, you're apolitical. Is this needed?
I mean, first of all, ain't nobody gonna be able to fucking train an alligator to charge at somebody. Like this, but this is that's nonsense. But it's performative. We know Donald Trump is a comedian, a showman. You feel me? And this is my thing, though. First of all, what's good with the chat? Is Zach Briggs? That's Doc, right?
Yeah, that's Doc.
All right, Doc is killing me in the chat right now. He got me cracking up. Second, I did want to bring something up, and y'all from Florida, and we talk about gators now and stuff like that. I did a show a couple years ago, and there was a sign, and I love my Florida people, Nora, Gray, you feel me? But the sign said, "Don't pet the alligators or molest them." I don't understand.
I knew that we'd go for that.
What the hell is going on? Like,
oh my
are they
god!
trying to train the gators or do something else, Diddy style? I don't know. I'm just like, I'm confused. I don't think the
People
gators
try
want
to
to work
feed
with
them. That's what they're trying to make clear. Like you may see videos of them walking on the road and you may think they're friendly, but they're not. Everybody from Florida knows you don't. When you see that sign that says gator, you don't go near there. You know not to mess with. I don't know. I don't mess with gators. Gray, when you see a sign that says gators, what do you do?
they teach us in school to run in zigzags. Yeah, you were
That's
gonna say
true.
that. It's also like when we're in school, we already are taught like that this happens with alligators because you can go to like a park and like I mean we have like good forests and like walking trails and like bike trails and stuff like that. Alligators are sometimes like in the area, so sometimes it's
True.
unavoidable. People pets get ate, so like it's even like a hazard for regular civilians as well as wildlife.
Hold on, King not sure, man. Goddamn, Diddy Gators. Come on, bro.
Diddy Gators is crazy.
I mean, like they be coming out. That's how they get you, man. They ambush you out of the water, bro. Diddy, you
They're
know, next
just
thing you know,
swamp
there's just a
puppies.
giant, like 500 gallons of lube or whatever with Diddy. I don't know. Maybe that's how we be getting people, bro. I don't know.
Fun
I caught
fact:
a
I
gator
went to the
once.
trial, so we're on edge. We've been covering Diddy every day, guys, at 12. So come back tomorrow. We've been covering it out. We're committed at this point. But yeah, I mean, Kamal, is there anything else you want to add to it before I go to the next clip? It's about the environment safety.
Yeah, I want to add. Enzo said he caught a fucking gator. I
I
like to hear
did.
more
I
about this.
did. When I was in 8th grade, I caught a gator. I was on my way to school, and me and my buddy saw it on the bank. It was a 4-foot gator. We jumped on it, grabbed it, taped its mouth up, and I put it in my backpack and walked into school with it. True story,
That's metal. Did you get in trouble?
bro. Oh, I got suspended for it.
Dude, that's metal, bro.
It was the last week of school. Who cared?
Dude,
Like,
if it
what
was
do
like
you
a
do with
bring
a
your
gator?
pet,
I don't know. It was just sitting there,
Bring your
dude.
pet.
imagine like a bring your pet to like school day, bro. Dude, and you just bring that, dude. That'd be so fucking.
That would be crazy. That was my pet.
Yeah, the whole gator.
You was Steve
So-
Irwin that day.
Dude, they're not scary to me. Like, I'm not scared of gators. Snakes, on the other hand, like the boas out there, no. You gonna see me running. A gator all day long. I'll go jump on a gator and catch it all day long.
For the most part, gators. I mean, like gators can attack you and are like pretty bad. Like I grew up in Georgia, right? And there was a lake, and we had gators by our thing, but like they weren't like a nuisance or anything. The other thing you gotta worry about is crocodiles. Crocodiles, they'll kill you.
No. Exactly. Those scare me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, he said the same thing too. Zach, you
Damn.
and Doc are buddies. He said he caught a gator too.
Y'all out here gator
I don't, dog. He
said it was
understands.
I
Made
I
by Smith and Wesson. That's not what he said.
Hold on.
Oh.
I caught a gator too.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. All right,
okay.
y'all. So
Uh,
when I first heard this, my concern was more so for the animals. Okay, and I'm gonna play this clip. Than detaining the people. I'm sorry, it's just how I felt, and I'm gonna explain why after I play the clip. It's about the environment.
Center for Biological Diversity, Elise Bennett, for more on the environmental impact of so-called alligator Alcatraz. Elise, thanks for coming on. I know you oversee the center's conservation work in Florida. So why are you so against this center's location?
Yes, well, we've filed a case to defend America's Everglades from a reckless and frantic attempt to build a mass detention center in the middle of one of our greatest natural treasures. We're incredibly concerned about the impacts of essentially building a new development in the middle of a preserve.
Now, you say the government violated the law by failing to properly analyze the damaging impacts to the environment from the center. So why couldn't you stop this in court?
So we actually do have a pending motion before the court that requests just merely a pause to stop activities so that the court can have an opportunity to review our allegations in the case. And so that no damage is done in the meantime. And so we look forward and are still hopeful that we can get that hearing, get a pause before things get any worse on the site.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security is calling that lawsuit lazy, saying the land has already been developed for a decade. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is also stressing that the center is temporary, located at a pre-existing airport, and he says it'll have no impact on the surrounding environment. What's your response to that?
Those claims are incredibly misleading. If it was already developed, they wouldn't be shipping out trailers, artificial lighting, sanitation, food services, fill material, restrooms. All of those things are things they're having to bring to the site. And that's because it was not well used before they decided to turn it into this immigration detention camp. And those are the exact things that give us such concern about our sensitive wetlands, our Florida panthers, who are already beleaguered by road deaths and will only be more at risk as more vehicles are coming on and off the site. this is a very remote area, and we're very concerned that every step they take to bring more people out there is just another dagger in the heart of the Everglades.
All right, Elise Bennett, we appreciate your time.
So yeah, so those were my concerns. I studied marine biology in middle school and high school. I wanted to be a marine biologist, but I just don't like animals like that. But nevertheless, I studied it. The Everglades are protected. It's the most beautiful thing you will ever see when you go. It is a Florida treasure, and it needs to be protected. So call me a tree hugger. That was my biggest concern. Number one. Number two, Buana brought up a good point. This is 60 miles out. So what Buana was saying about the hurricane is, how are we going to safely keep these people safe? Because if it's in the middle of a wetlands, flooding, winds, all sorts of things can happen during hurricanes. So that Buana brought up a good point with that. Gray, as a Floridian, do you have environmental concerns, or do you think that we shouldn't worry about that?
My question is, like, why couldn't these people just go like a regular jail or a regular prison? Is there like a law against that? Like, why do
Well,
they
I
have
think there's no room for them. And my thought process was, Enzo brought up a good point. Does the government know something? And I hate to bring up the left and make it about that, but does the government have a significant threat that people are going to start breaking people out of jail? I don't see the need for this. Sorry, keep going though.
I mean, but like, how long is it going to take to build this? To me, I feel like if that is specifically for a migrant detention center and they're really going to deport people, then they're going to build it. They're going to get them, then deport them. Then what are they going to do with that building once they're deported?
Well, it's not if they're being given due process, it's not a fast process. That's the thing. Trump skipped things that needed to be done. I will say that. He skipped the due process, which was the argument that many people make, because it generally takes 6 months to a year to finish out the process, but he was picking people up and sending them back like that. And I think the one guy prevailed from Colombia, but anyways, that's why it's a long process, Gray.
Well, just to wrap up mine, I would just say that the Trump administration isn't really like caring about the environment. They're not like solar energy and all that stuff. So I think we have to protect the environment because of global warming. And if you do something to animals, PETA is going to be on you. So they're going to have to worry about that next.
Oh Lord. Enzo, what do you think? Why did the Trump build this? It's built already. He just toured it. They're about to fill it up
Yeah.
soon.
Like when it comes down to the environmental and everything like that, I do agree with you. And I looked up that original land that it was built on and why it was never furthered. It was because of environmental concerns. But then again, environmental concerns because of jets is completely different than aircraft. Because I mean, that's going to scare everything that's around there. The jet taking off. I understand the concerns about, like driving in and driving out and everything like that. They're part of the Everglades. I don't know exactly where it is to know if that's paved roads out there, because there are parts of the Everglades, like the wetlands, that are paved roads where you can get to certain areas within it. When it comes down to Trump's motivation, it's just performative, honestly. Like, I don't realistically think they keep it long term. And then, Gray, I looked it up why ICE can bring migrants to jails and prisons. They don't do it because of the controversies between human rights and conditions, and then blurring the lines between criminal and civil, and then family separation. That's why they don't necessarily do that. I mean, there's plenty of jails in Florida. I mean, you can just bring them out to Opelika and bring them there. That's another jail that's pretty much in the Everglades, right on Lake Okeechobee. I don't necessarily see this being a long-term solution for this. It's more of shock factor. Like, we all know Trump's a showman. He's performative. Ron DeSantis is the same thing. When I watched that first clip, and I go, when did Trump get younger and actually had darker hair now? I was looking at two of them. The way that they were talking, like that's who I see. I see two Trumps. Just one's more extreme.
Basically.
Yeah. So who really knows? Well, I mean, we just got to sit back and see.
Exactly. Kamal, is this performative? Why did he do this? Is it needed?
Hell yeah, this performative. I don't mind it though. This brings some goddamn excitement to politics. I'm sorry. Like, hey, for real, man, Donald Trump bring excitement to politics. Let's not be fooled, okay? The rest of the presidents, man, Jesus Christ, man. Except for probably Obama. Obama had a little, pizzazz to him and shit. All the rest of the presidents, You know what I mean? No pizzazz, no nothing. You feel me? So yes, it's performative, but we should know by now it's Donald Trump. He been performative since the fucking show. You're fired.
Oh, never mind.
The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, come on now. We know. You feel me? What I didn't know though, that Florida had Panthers and stuff like that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Damn.
I missed the word.
And I will say this. I'm gonna just say allegedly. Nora doesn't like animals because I don't want PETA on you. You feel me? PETA hear any of that line, they're gonna be on your ass.
Scared of animals. Let me say this. I like them from afar. I care about the
Oh,
alligators.
okay.
That's why I'm like, I don't like it, because the thing is why we see alligators in our homes, not homes, but in our neighborhoods, is because they have nowhere to go. And that's my concern. If you keep taking away their home, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to keep showing up. That's why we see them.
Okay.
In the pools and stuff in people's yards.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of them being like people's like sewers and stuff too, like hissing at people. Like that's terrifying. Bro.
Yeah. Ethan, what's your thoughts? Is it performative? Should we care about the environment?
Yeah, we definitely should care about the environment. One, as a Southerner, the environment quite literally is what brings in a lot of our tourism, for example, right? Now, for Florida specifically, I mean, you've got like Tampa, you've got Miami, you've got Orlando, right? And that brings a lot of things in too. But the thing is, the South as a whole, a big part of it is the environmental aspect. So, like, I can speak on like, for example, like South Carolina, we have the Venus flytrap is native to South Carolina. And national parks and the Everglades, these are all things that need to be protected because there is value in having these things, right? And you can't get sceneries like Florida necessarily like from other places. Every place, I mean, you can find similar places, right? But like you can't get a place like the Everglades necessarily, at least not to my knowledge. But is it performative? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like I'm looking at how much this thing costs. It looks like they allocated $625 million to make it, or maybe it's going to cost $450 million just to host it for 1 year. And it's like, what is this going to be a long-term thing? And I'm thinking probably not. Again, I need to get more information on this thing. But one of the things that Nora brought up, which was really important, is what happens when a hurricane does hit and like these places get flooded or like almost like wiped off the map. And this kind of goes back to that dehumanizing rhetoric that I talked about before, where it's like, are we going to make sure that these people are safe when disaster hits? It's 60 miles away from like regular land. I don't know the answer to that. How and if it's like filled to the brim, like I don't know how big these facilities are, but like how quickly and efficiently are we going to be able to get people off of harm's way? And it just kind of makes me think like, oh man, the administration, like, yeah, they're just kind of in it more for like like y'all said, the messaging, the memes, right? Of just like, oh hey, illegals, get them out of here.
Well, I'll say this, Ethan. Trump had a mandate. 75 million people voted for him, and I truly believe they voted for him. And people don't like this. And I'm gonna be honest with you. The number one reason was the immigration. And so I think he feels the pressure. I know from talking to my MAGA friends, they don't like that he's not deporting enough. They feel like he's not performing. It may be too much for the left, but when we look at the numbers, he's going to be even underperforming even Biden's administration at the end of the 4 years at the rate he's going. So he has pressure. But anyways, we're going to move on. Guys, thank you everyone for watching. Please go give everyone a follow. Also, we have to pay some bills. Let me play Grace's favorite clip. So we're going to move on to the main headline of the night. Candace Owens takes on 20 fierce feminists. So we'll be doing reactions. It's funny, none of the women showed up tonight. I think Mia's working, and then our buddy Skeptic was running late. I don't know if she's coming, but guys, you're gonna have to hold it down. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to answer the questions. But here we go. First clip of the night. This is talking about women and voting for reproductive rights.
think that women are the ones voting to have their reproductive rights taken away, where you have rape, incest, and all of these things excluded to force women to be able to have. I don't think women in government would largely vote against their own interests because it's majority male, patriarchy.
Okay, I think love that point. Are women allowed to vote?
Oh, of course they are.
Who's voting that patriarchy, and then out of curiosity?
No, I totally agree. And you want to know why? Because there are so many women who think like you. You say you don't want to submit, but that's what you do to the patriarchy. You submit to the idea of men ruling everything. And your ideology is spread across a lot of women who also falsely believe to vote against their own interests just to complain about it in the end.
So you're saying that when you're acknowledging that women have the freedom to vote.
Yes.
And you're saying that women are still existing mentally, even with the freedom to vote.
Correct.
They are voting men in because we are still victims of...
No, I don't believe in victimhood. I believe in lack of education and lack of knowledge, because one of the things that you also say...
Do you think that it could just be that more men are running for positions of office?
No, not necessarily, because remember, the United States, the average reading comprehension of people in the United States is 6th grade. So we're not dealing with educated people. We're dealing with people who are motivated off of their feelings. And since we're motivated off of our feelings with a lack of education, people have the same mentality as you due to the lack of understanding of biology.
Right, that's why you think Kamala lost.
This ain't even about Kamala.
Because you're talking...
Yo, Skeptic, right on time. I'm so happy. Like, I've never been more happy to see you.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Skeptic. All right, guys, because this is a women's panel, we're going to have Skeptic go first every time. Skeptic, what do you think about that clip? What's your thoughts? Why is it that more men run? Why is it that reproductive rights are on the line? What's your thoughts?
Well, I do think it's interesting that particularly white teen men make up 29% of the population, but they hold about 60% of political office positions in America. So I do think that that's an interesting stat to look at. Women are getting educated in higher numbers than men are. Men are dropping out of school more than women are. Women own more homes than men do. So I don't think that it's a lack of education as to why women are, we hold a lot of degrees. We just kind of have, are getting educated. So I don't really understand why. I think maybe just like what we're interested in may not be politics. I know there's a lot of women that are interested in politics, but just growing up, I know the conversations around politics and power and what was going on in the government, the majority of women aren't sitting there just kind of like wanting to have that type of conversation. I think it is a lower amount of number of women that want to sit down and that want to talk about all those things. The majority of women are kind of more interested in like social type of topics. So maybe it's just an interest. I don't necessarily think that it correlates to discrimination, although I'm not saying that women are not being discriminated against, that they're not being, we don't see discrimination, because we do. Even in the workplace, a lot of the time when a woman has something to say, you kind of have to show, like you kind of have to, act as if, speak a certain way so that people will respect you, which is just the true thing. Like I've worked in places where I've had to oversee men, and they tend not to listen to what I have to say, or another man has to come in and say the exact same thing that I've already said for them to listen, particularly when they're older than you. They tend not to listen to you. So that is a real thing, but I don't necessarily think that women are not in office because someone's holding us back per se. Maybe we just aren't interested in politics at the same rate that men are.
All right. Enzo, what's your thoughts? Why are, should women vote for their interests? Because that's pretty much what the clip was saying. Maybe if more women voted, do you think women just aren't interested in politics? I don't agree with that. Most of the women I know that do this, or most of the people I know are women that are doing this, doing the political commentary. What's your thoughts?
So 100%, I think everybody should be more involved in politics and issues that you perceive as detriment to you at the end of the day. I advocate for that all the time. When I speak about Roe v. Wade being overturned, I say, well, if this was that big of an issue in America where women think that their rights are being taken, there wouldn't be states like Florida. There wouldn't be states like Ohio, Georgia, Texas, all these states where getting an abortion is practically impossible. People would pay attention to who you guys are putting into power, who you guys are putting into power within your state, your municipal level, your local level, all the way up to your governor, because you're not going to vote for something that's not in your best interest. If this is that big of an issue, you're going to vote regardless if it's red or blue or whatever it is, like you're a registered Republican. If you think something should happen, you're going to pay attention. And this goes to not paying an interest into politics. People don't realize who they're voting for on their local level. I never really paid attention to it until Roe v. Wade became an issue, because it was going to go back to the states. That's when I started paying attention to who we're really putting into power within our state levels, like all the way down to the municipal levels. So, I mean, in a perfect world, I would agree, and everybody should pay attention to who you guys are putting into, even in your school board levels and everything like that. If you want your child to be taught one thing, you should put somebody in to that's going to go with what you would want. So, just comes down to that in my eyes.
Gray, what's your thoughts?
My girl actually played that clip, so I guess it's going viral. And showed it to me. But women get discriminated against, and it's because of stereotypes. And there's no one that discriminates against women more than other women. I can't count. So many women have always said, you know what? I don't have any female friends because girls are too emotional. Girls do this. So women have a bad reputation with emotions and control. So like when it comes to like positions of power, people do the stereotypical hate on women. I mean, we got a red pill person on this podcast on Monday and Wednesday, so we know there's a big prejudice against how women are. So that's what I think the issue is, and I feel like women who are married are just gonna follow what their husbands say when it comes to voting. Some of them, especially conservative women.
And shout out to the man cave, man. The man cave, every show has just been getting better and better. We got the red pill. We got the men holding the red pill accountable. So thank you for the men holding it down. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Zoc. Even shout out to the red pill host, Vulgar. Ethan, what's your thoughts on the clip that we played? And Zach made a good point. Have women been handcuffed by their loyalty to certain men in spite of their best interests?
Yeah, I think some women are gonna be handcuffed to loyally certain men in spite of their best interests by definition of like being like a trad wife. I want to make it clear that like people who want to be a trad wife, there's nothing wrong with wanting to do that, but like the problem with being a trad wife is now you're completely dependent on your husband, right? And if that's the thing that you want to do, go into that understanding what the repercussions of that. You have no real financial liberation. You are completely dependent on your husband in the same way like a child is dependent on their parents, right? So that's why I'm like, it's probably not a good idea to do the whole trad wife thing. But as for things like abortion, yeah, it's tragic to me. I think what the woman who was debating Candace Owens said, one, has an incredible voice. Oh my god, like she has such an amazing voice. Oh my god. But two, yeah, a lot of women, in my opinion, are deceived by a lot of conservative speakers like Candace Owens into voting against their own best interests. I'm a very much pro-choice person. I won't go into the reasons why, but I very much am in favor of it. So yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about that. I think a lot of women are voting against their best interests due to people like Candace Owens.
Fair enough. Kamal, Mr. Apolitical, what's your thoughts? King brought up a good point, Kamal. I know you don't get in on the sides, but what do you think about men that are being forced to vote like their women are telling them to do it? That's been happening a lot lately. Does your woman try to control how you vote, Kamal?
Hell no. The fuck? No, not at all. And I don't try to control how she vote. Okay,
that's good.
Fair enough.
You feel
I think like the thing that's great though, Kamal, I assume you have like a job, right? And you're able to like pay for everything on your own.
Yeah.
And that's good. I very much think that's a very good thing. But being like financially like independent allows you to do that. So it's like she can't tell you what to do because like let's say she tried to, you could be like, all right, well like, I'm gonna break up with you if you're gonna do that. So that's why I'm like, yeah, that's a sick thing. So I'm happy for you.
Yeah, man. I mean, she still tried to tell me what to do. She literally just came in here and told me make some goddamn burgers later.
Yeah.
There's just some things you gonna win, some things you're gonna lose. I'm gonna be making some burgers later. You
Yeah.
feel me? But second though, what I wanted to say is Skeptic, I do appreciate you coming on here, you feel me? Cause I for damn sure don't want to hear 3 other men talk about feminism. I'm telling you, I watched that Candace shit, and every man that got on there, I was like, shut your ass up. Let the women talk about feminism and holding other women accountable and shit. I did not want to hear no men talk about that ish. So I did watch the whole thing, you feel me? Candace new name, you feel me? Griftoria, she was holding it down. Griftoria was holding it down. Some of them people on there was just stupid as hell. I'm sorry. God damn, they was dumb. I was like, what are you talking about? One woman was cutting her off. I was like, damn it, y'all. I know y'all not gonna have me be on sides with Candace Owens, aka Griftoria. I couldn't stand it. But yeah, the whole thing, like the whole voting stuff and you influencing your man to vote and your woman to vote and this and that. Shit, I don't know. Most motherfuckers don't vote. I'm gonna be honest. Most people don't even know politics like at all. You feel me? They vote. Most people vote off feelings. I'm gonna be a thou wow with y'all. They vote off feelings and they vote off symbolism. You feel me? It's only a critical mass of us that actually know policies and vote for that when it comes to policies and things in that nature. You feel me? So oh, it's good, Bawana. I was gonna actually get to you in a little bit. You feel me? Shout out to my brother coming in with the jokes, even though that new deodorant bushmeat extravaganza is frying his brain right now. He out here saying some dumb shit. But shout out to you, Bawana. I appreciate you, bro. And King Not Sure, yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Talk about I'm a poet with the words. All right. But yeah, I want to get into some more of this Candace
I
Owens.
got some more. I got some more clips. Don't worry, I'm gonna play about 2 more. All right,
Okay.
guys. This one is about sexual freedom because the whole reason why the red pill dudes are upset is they feel women have too much freedom, and women having too much freedom has changed respect for women. And they'll tell you all about it. Gray will probably tell you some lessons he's learned from hanging out with them. Let me play this clip.
Has devalued women and made them infinitely less happy.
My question for you is, statistics show that 60% of women who are murdered by their intimate partners, murdered by someone that they are in close relations with. That's according to the UN from 2023.
Yeah.
So how is it that, women are so valued, quote unquote, in the home, and yet that's the place where they're at the most danger?
Okay, so I'm not sure what that has to do with the sexual revolution.
Right, the sexual revolution.
The first claim.
The sexual revolution gave.
I'm happy to answer it. I'm just saying that if you broaden that statistic, you are more likely in general just to be murdered by somebody you know. So of course.
But men are much less likely to be murdered by their
that's
intimate
not
partners.
true.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm sure because men are less likely to be murdered by women. Full stop. Yeah, exactly. So that statistic makes sense to me. I'm still not sure how this correlates to whether or not
the sexual revolution increased women's ability to leave the house, women's ability to control their own reproductive capabilities, women's ability to, control their own capacity within the workforce in regards to their own sexual capacity. So it is the very fact that the sexual revolution happened that made our access to the workplace much more, or just the public sphere in general, much more easy. So, without the sexual revolution, women would be much more confined to the place where they're at the most danger. Isn't that true?
So you think that, just so I'm trying to understand your argument here, you think that if we didn't have the sexual revolution, less women or more women would be murdered? Are you saying that women are
more women would be murdered, for sure.
Okay, I disagree with that. I still don't think it has anything to do with the claim that women are infinitely less happy because of the sexual revolution, which has devalued women.
I think you're probably less happy if you're being murdered.
Oh.
Anyone disagree?
Okay, yeah, I don't, okay.
Bro, that's such a L take. I'm sorry. I gotta speak because I'm the other woman on the line. I don't agree with that. That was like apples to oranges. I get what she was saying, that the sexual evolution equals freedom, but I also think it equals promiscuity. That's why we're having so many ABs. That's why there's so many STDs. I'm sorry, we have to be the gatekeepers of our body, but at the same time, men need to take some responsibility. And I don't like the red pill because they put none on the men. Men need to use condoms. Men should be getting married. Men don't want to marry women. And if you date, anybody dating that dates, they will tell you that people don't want to commit. That's unfortunately where we're at in the society. And I don't think it's all on women or all on men. And that's where I think I differ than feminists, because I'm not saying it's all on women. Skeptic, I know we might have different viewpoints. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I don't necessarily think that women having more rights or more bodily autonomy necessarily correlates to a negative outcome. Like, I think that men are not having relationships, like valued relationships. But here's the thing, and I don't know what rapper, I think it might have been Drake, that said that, good girls ain't fun girls ain't no good, but the good girls ain't no fun. So there are good girls out here. There are good girls out here, but the OnlyFans girls are pulling all the men because they are showing what the men want to see. Who are the drivers? Who are the customer base to OnlyFans women? True. It's not women, it's men.
Weirdo men.
So, how can you sit there and get upset at the fact that you're the customer base, but then you want to call them 304s? You are creating that environment. You are putting your money there and you are investing into this system. So then to turn around and try and judge them when you yourselves, like these red pill guys, only date OnlyFans girls. They only date, sugar babies. So you're such a hypocrite and speaking against this supposed to be, culture of 304s, when at the same time you're pushing forward that idea by literally being involved. Like, I don't necessarily think that women having more rights correlates to being a 304. You can find a good girl, but she's not going to be hanging out in these places where you're at. She's probably going to be out there buying plants and going to morning yoga and, hanging out with her girlfriends and not out in these streets. So like, I feel like who you date and what you think about women tells me more about you than it does women. Because I know a lot of good girls out here that are getting their bag, that are in college, that are plant moms and have, just kind of read books and kind of stick to themselves and don't have these same problems. So I feel like red pill guys are talking from their experience because that's who they're dating. They're dating those women. Therefore, they have become experts on those women. But all women are not what they are saying.
Renzo, as a young single guy, what's your thoughts? Is it on the women? Is it on the men? Is it the 304s? Is it the OnlyFans? What ruined dating at this point? I mean, because this is all wrapped up in relationships.
I mean, skeptic, I'm gonna agree with everything you said. I can't disagree there at all. That's exactly what it comes down to. I mean, you get the red pill guys complaining about relationships and not looking for the right women at the end of the day. I mean, trust me, I've been in plenty of relationships and I'm picky as shit when it comes to women at the end of the day. I don't go for it. Like, first off, I don't like makeup. I never did any of that. Like, if you got to put a 7 pounds of makeup on your face, I ain't even looking your way. And if you're showing yourself on fucking on Instagram to everybody and anybody or having an OnlyFans, I'm not even looking your way. You could be Megan Fox and you're attracted to me. I still wouldn't look at your way if you did any of that. So it comes down to what guys want at the end of the day, and that's what they want. And then they're complaining that they can't settle down and everything like that because you're not looking in the right places. You're looking in the wrong places. You're looking online. You're looking at all these women. You're taking home sugar babies that are just sucking you dry. That's your fault at the end of the day, guys. Stop the shit. Go back to normal women who actually treat you right. Maybe you'll have a relationship.
Facts. Kamal, what's your thoughts?
Thoughts on what everybody said, or like what?
Sexual revolution of women. Is this the downfall of women? That was pretty much the topic that she said.
I mean, it depends on what the woman's looking for. You feel me? Is she looking for a husband and shit? You know what I mean? Well, certain things you can't be doing. Same for men. You looking for a wife? You can't be out on the street slanging D to everything. Come on now. You feel me? And this is my thing. The thing with feminism sometimes and the sexual revolution, it just confused me sometimes when it comes to like black women, because the sexual revolution happened in the 50s. Before that, you know who was running feminism? Susan B. Anthony and this ugly ass woman, Elizabeth Cady Satin, whatever the hell her name is. Boy, they was racist. They couldn't stand black women. They could. So it blows my mind that, this happened in the 50s. Okay, you know what happened? Gloria Steinem probably studied history and was like, hold on now, we can't be talking shit about black women like this. We're going to make them the face of the modern feminism. And I'm like, that shit just throws me in a loop, because the sexual revolution, did it really include black women? Like, I know it said women, but that was in the 50s. Civil rights was fought in the 60s. I just named some people that was in that 50s, the 40s, and 20s that was mad anti-black, yo. So did the sexual revolution help women? I don't know if it helped all women, but I know it probably helped white women from what I see. I'm just saying.
Facts. All right, I saved the two Democrat men for last. Ethan, what's your thoughts?
All right. So first, I'm going to address the speaker going against Candace Owens. I might be misunderstanding her point, because, like, I think intuitively it sounds kind of weird, but I just don't think she made it very clear. But I think what she's saying is that you cannot have the total picture of like women's liberation without the sexual liberation part as well, right? And I think what she's saying is it's impossible, right, to have women be totally free in the sense of like, as men, right? Men, we're encouraged to go out and like, like get bitches, have sex, right? If you do that, you're successful, right? Because men are totally free in that regard to do anything like that. We're not, I'm like, maybe some people will like judge you kind of negatively, but like overwhelmingly, it's delusion. The idea of like a guy having like, sex like 20 girls, like people seeing him negatively. Okay, people are gonna think like, oh man, this guy's like Chad Thundercock over here, right? But when we I just don't think she made that very clear. And I think that it's true that you can't have women's liberation without the sexual liberation part as well. Because if we don't have that, well, then are women truly like, I guess, like equal to men, right? When we advocate for like equal rights between men and women, when we still, I'll say, like slut shame people, right, or slut shame women, because it only happens to women. Let's be honest. Like realistically, it only happens to women. I can't say that men and women are equal when we're doing that. Second, I want to echo what Skeptics said about the red pill and them not getting mad at guys who buy OnlyFans, bro. Like, let's be real. Who are the people that's buying these OnlyFans thing? Like, it's men, and like between like red pill or like liberal men, I don't know the demographics on that. But in the same way, like a lot of like racist people like watching also like interracial like I'll say like explicit videos. I'd be very interested to see the demographics that look at OnlyFans content. But I think the funniest thing though about red pill shit is you've got people like Andrew Tate. Did you guys know about like Hustlers Universe? Like question to the panel. How much did you guys
We
know
know
about
all
Hustlers
about
Universe?
we know all about Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines. Our most viral videos was going after Myron Gaines. I cannot stand him. He's a disgusting human being.
Yeah.
He's one of the worst alive. I think he should be locked up. Andrew Tate to me is not even half as bad as Myron Gaines. Myron Gaines to me is the worst because he says extremely racist things, extremely harsh things, and he's very one-sided. Andrew Tate directs it towards all people. Myron Gaines is primarily focused against black women, and he claims to be black.
Oh, oops.
I will say that there's this is kind of off topic, but kind of on topic to something that Ethan just said. I've noticed, and this is just for me traveling in the US, I've traveled to a lot of places. I've noticed that when I go into areas that tend to be very racist, like they're very like not integrated, I see a lot of mixed children. for some reason.
True.
Like currently where I'm at, the Triple K started 2 hours south from here. And for some reason, and like I can always kind of like, it doesn't take me very long to get a feeling. Actually, when I first got here, I stopped at a gas station and I was talking to a man. And he's like, "You're not from here, are you?" Every time I hear the quote, "You're not from here," I already know that like there's some kind of racial thing going on, because I always tend to kind of mix in, and like I don't really like I don't live in a place where everything's separated, and so I don't think like that. And he just laughed, was like, "I can tell you're not from here. Where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm from Texas." And he was like, "Yeah, out here it's different." Same thing when I went to Georgia. I want to say it was like Columbus area, and we were staying at a hotel because we were at training, and so I had to go wash my clothes, and I went to like a laundromat, and I heard the same thing. When I went to the mall, I saw a lot of mixed children. And I feel like maybe there's some kind of phenomenon where when your parents have this bigot, mindset, the children maybe rebel against that. And there's a lot of like mixed children, which is a crazy thing for me. It's just the theory I have.
Yeah,
You
I
mean
mean, I'm not
like
gonna lie.
black?
Go ahead.
My bad, Ethan. Can I ask this real quick?
Yeah.
Skeptic, you mean when you mean mixed, you mean in black and white or Hispanic?
Yeah, I mean black and white.
I could tell you why. Shit, they love fucking us, but they don't be respecting us.
True. True.
Come on
True.
now. Are we gonna act oblivious?
It's true.
Man, come on. That's the main.
You mean that literally or figuratively?
I mean,
both.
You can choose. Shit.
Both.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we don't gotta choose. It's both.
Yeah, like that's what I take from it, Skeptic. You feel me? That's why you probably see a lot of mixed kids, but you don't see the family together like that in a lot of racist towns. Man, you know what? I ain't even gonna get into it. You feel me? But I'll just leave it at that. They want to have sexual relations with us, but that is it. Most of them do.
I'll wrap up with these two things. One, you've got because I brought up Hustlers University because red pill people shit on OnlyFans girls, but Hustlers University was literally what was like a sex trafficking ring of collecting girls to do OnlyFans content to profit off of like these lonely fucking guys. So like clearly they're just like grifting like fuck. At least Andrew Tate's side. I need to do more attention to Myron. More
He had
research.
a video thing with the girls. That was why they're going after him, because he was keeping them at hostage to do the videos. That's the whole thing about what they're saying about the trafficking with him.
Yeah.
And he was undercutting them knowingly and lying to them and saying that he was holding money for taxes and different things. So yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate is a disgusting person. You're not going to get any disagreements from me. I think he's very guilty of all the things they accuse him of, and the only reason why I think they haven't got him is because he's a billionaire and gets good attorneys.
Real. And the final thing is what ruined dating, and I think there's three things. It's one, I think it's the red pill has ruined modern day dating. Two, a lack of positive masculinity. Because when we look at like what is masculine, right? If we try to look for like masculine figures today, the only people who are like talking about like, I guess like masculinity as like a broad or like topic, it's gonna be people like Fresh and Fit. It's gonna be people like Andrew Tate. It's gonna be people who do these like red pill philosophies, like on like the whatever podcast or whatever, like saying this garbage bullshit. It's just incentivizing men to be more toxic, and it's killing us, right? It's killing our relationships. And the last thing is, I don't think people know how to actually like fucking socialize in real life. Like everyone is online, right? Like bro, before people, I think people don't know how to have game. I'm gonna say quote unquote game in like a respectful way, right? Because the way game was before is like you go up to a girl like, hey, like how you doing? Like, when if I buy you a drink, put your hand on your shoulder. But like it's kind of weird. I don't think that's a good way to do it, but it worked before then because like it was just normal, right? But nowadays you can still have game without being a fucking weirdo, but people don't know how to do that, and I think I have a good idea how to do that, but people aren't preaching it.
Oh man, Ethan, maybe you should have a dating class when you guys go. That would be interesting. I'm just kidding.
No, like straight up. This is something I want to hit on because I used to be a dating coach. I did that for
Well,
a
you need
while.
to come on the Man Cave, Ethan. I really would like you to come be a guest on the Man Cave. Can you come next week on Monday or Wednesday? We really would love to have you.
Yeah.
Come, you can come meet the Red Pill guys because you're missing out on
Oh my
getting
god.
their
Be a lot of fun.
perspective. We
Let's go.
we
That'd be
have to
fun.
have the perspective.
That'd be very fun. Yeah, I'd love to
Gray's
do
on
that.
there. Gray, what's your thoughts on sexual
Uh,
revolution?
so they were both on to something, but they didn't realize it because the girl was saying that's not Candace Owens was talking about domestic violence, and Candace was talking about the sexual revolution. So basically, the sexual revolution increased premarital sex, extramarital affairs, high divorce rate, single parent households, homosexuality. So like all the stuff Candace Owens is against, where she says that father should be in the home. But what the girl or Candace didn't say is that once the sexual revolution happened and women felt comfortable to leave, domestic violence cases went down.
Mm-hmm.
So the murder of spouses, domestic violence overall, once they were able to walk away and not feel like they were controlled based on the government, religion, or that they had to do it, domestic cases decreased.
Because you're saying because they had freedom to then go and say, okay, I'm getting a divorce. It's not such a taboo on it. Then they're free to leave the men. You're saying, and they felt the motive. That's a good way to look at it, Gray. Well, that's a good point. All right, got one last clip, guys. It's about women working, and this is the final one.
Women that grow up in a two-family home where the mother stays at home are faring off better than the children who are being raised in an environment
Where the
both
women
of
are
parents-
working?
where both of the parents
So
are
why
working
don't
and
you
away
stay
from the
home?
home. I do get to work from home.
No,
That's
but
the
I
irony.
mean,
That's
I've
why I
watched your
said
show.
I'm
You talk about all the
actually-
nannies you hire, and it's so
I
hard to
have
find a good
never
nanny.
talked about all of the nannies I
Yeah,
hired. but
you have.
I spoke about how difficult it was to find a babysitter who knew how to cook a meal, and that's
Well,
because who
you
knew how
don't
to
need a
make-
babysitter. You're already.
Okay.
You could retire right
You have
now.
to let people respond to you when they're speaking.
You don't want to.
To respond to you when
No,
I
you
speak?
don't want to. You want to be working, which is great.
You're telling me what I want now and then accusing me of telling you
Wait,
what
are
you
you?
want.
You don't want to work?
Can you just let me finish?
I'll go wherever you want to
That I
go.
never said.
I'll go wherever
So do you
want
want
to
to
go.
start with me working at home? Because I work at home. You just said something about me working
You
at
travel
home.
all around the world.
Okay,
you do speeches, and I love that. I love how ambitious you are. That's a
Yes.
really great trait. And if you were truly said that, you would be more fulfilled. Now, one thing you do find is women, they don't want to stay at home when you pull them. They just want flexible working hours and flexible working conditions, like you have. And I think we should all advocate for that. It's not one or the other. But when you sit here and you go, you'll be more fulfilled doing this, then spend all your time doing
Yes.
that. We would love for you to leave the public eye and go focus on what makes you fulfilled.
Okay, so my issue with the trad wives is it's not real life. Women have to work. People ain't making money the way they used to work. That's my first issue. My second issue is Candace, you got the means to have nannies. I actually kind of agree with that, girl. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm just like, there's no understanding for working moms. And the issue I have with Red Pill is their whole thing is, oh, child support, child support, child support. But women can't not work now. Like in this day and age, child support can't even hold you over. You have to work. So, I mean, I just think it's not, it's not like women are just getting this windfall with child support where they don't have to work. And taking care of kids is hard. It is the hardest job. Skeptic shaking her head. She only has one. I have two. So I can relate. Skeptic, what's your thoughts?
Well, my mom didn't work growing up, and my mom had 5 children, and my aunt, who was a single mom, had 6 children. So it was 11 of us at our house. My mom would take care of my cousins, and it was a full house. My parents were basically like step parents to my cousins, and so it was wild. And I wasn't the person that wanted to grow up and have a big family. Like just from my experience, it was crazy. So I understand it from both ways. All of my cousins that are women, they all work. They're all working moms. I've done both. I've worked and I haven't, and I like don't work and then I'll work and then I won't. Like my income doesn't like mean much in our household, but I like to work. So, I think it goes by your experience. If you have children and you understand what working with children is like, especially when they're little, I mean, it's very difficult. It is so difficult. And to be very realistic, children are expensive, especially girls, like all the extra activities that they do. I mean, to be like very real, the majority, I want to say statistically speaking in America, the majority of households are two income households. So to tell women like you should be a stay-at-home mom is a very privileged stance to take,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's not a realistic one. I think the more realistic thing to say would be to have maybe go after careers that are more flexible, like she was saying about hours. Like I happen to be in a career where I can work from home because I went into tech. So like I went from accounting where I actually worked hybrid schedule. So like I loved it, you know. And also I want to say C19 helped out with that, because prior to that you didn't really hear people working from home. So now it's become a more popular thing. But just to tell women you should just stay home, like it's such it also not realistic. You're telling, you know, a lot of what is it, majority of people I want to say are either middle class or we're not the majority rich, you know, so we can't afford to have nannies and to just, you know, say you shouldn't work and stay home. Like it just isn't realistic, I think. And I think you're not thinking about everyone in general when you say stuff like that. Obviously spending more time with your children is the best thing. I mean, we don't have to argue about that, but people just realistically speaking cannot do it. Like, what are you going to do when you have to bring in income for your household to, you know, be comfortable? Like, it's just, yeah, I feel like that's a crazy thing for her to say.
Ray, what you think about working stay-at-home dads? You think that's going to be a new thing? You think there's more career women now? What's your thoughts?
I've seen some stay-at-home dads. I think people can do it, and like, yeah, sometimes a woman can get a better job, or a woman has a better education, or whatever. Will it be demeaning for the man? Probably, because of society. But to talk about the clip, it's the hypocrisy that the girl was pointing out. Yeah, she didn't do a good delivery. She shouldn't have been interrupting her like that. But it's a lot of hypocrisy going on
Mm-hmm.
in the influencer network anyway. You might say, okay, like, I'm going to work, but you should work. And we talk about the red pill guys that were like, oh, you should be with 1,000 girls, but you married and laid up every night. So it's just like, it's the hypocrisy, basically.
Facts. Come on, Mr. Apolitical. What you think about the stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives? Is that real life or is that not realistic in 2025?
Hell no, it ain't realistic in 2025, and especially in certain areas that you live in. There's certain areas that a 2 income ain't even enough. Are you kidding me? You know what your best bet should be? Stay at home and have a job that where you can work from home. Most motherfuckers don't want to go in the building to work anyway. So if you could find somewhere, a hybrid would be okay, because you might like some of your coworkers and shit like that. But if you could find somewhere, or I'm gonna be a thou out with y'all, garnish skills that could be transferable anywhere you go. Garnish skills. That's what I'm doing. Garnish as many skills that if I leave from Cali to Texas to New York, wherever, the Midwest, I could still do the same thing. There's no such thing as somebody staying at home and not be able to work and do something. You have to do something. It's no way in God's green earth that you're going to be able to stay home and not bring in an income. And if bruh or the woman is mad rich and you staying home and ain't doing nothing, man, I'm telling you right now, resentment getting built up, man. I'm telling you right now. Resentment gonna get built up, because after a while, you feel me? The rich motherfucker gonna be at home like, man, my wife don't do a goddamn thing. Like, or if the wife is damn, my husband didn't do nothing. Damn, like, all you doing there is just watching YouTube and shit. No, you gonna have to do something. Like, it ain't happening. With 2025, man, gas over here. I don't know about y'all. I heard in Florida gas like $2.50, but in Cali, the shit is like $4.55.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's 309 here, by me at least.
Still 309. Damn, I wish I had that over here. You feel me? But yeah, there's no way. It's just a delusion. It's a delusion for the whole thing where people are not going out there with 2 incomes. No, got to do something.
Enzo, what's your thoughts? You want your wife to stay at home, or do you think that's not realistic?
I mean, I've always been the type of guy where if I always said if I was going to have a kid and get married, that I would work is 10 times hard, so my wife wouldn't have to. Like, if she wants to work, she absolutely can. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to say, oh, you need to be a stay-at-home wife. Like, no, if you want to work, you want to work at the end of the day. I just see my responsibility as a man to do as much as I can to provide for my family. And that's one thing that I always strive for and always to do, because I grew up watching my mom. She was a stay-at-home mom for 20, 22 years of her life.
Wow.
I mean, so, and then my parents got a divorce and had to restart, and I saw how much of a detriment that was to her and getting back into society and everything like that. So, I mean, but I mean, that's worst case scenario there. So, I mean, I'm not like, I wouldn't be the guy to be like, no, I make enough. You have to stay home. If my wife wants to work whenever I get married, absolutely go for it.
Mm.
So.
Ethan, what's your thoughts?
I just want to say I really like Enzo's take on it. Like from man to man, it's like you want to. I feel like as a man, I do feel a sense of obligation to do my best, no matter what. I think everyone probably feels that way, but at least speaking as a man, I know I definitely feel that way, and women probably do as well. But yeah, I just want to echo what she said. I really like what she said. But second. For sure. But second, I'm going to talk about that girl, and I think the girl who was debating Candace Owens. This is the problem with like today's debate. Like let's be honest. We're watching that, and this girl is so obviously trying to get like a viral moment. Okay, like it's so like performative, bruh. Like she's not letting Candace respond, and she looks unhinged. Okay, and I don't like Candace Owens, but she makes Candace look like a victim in a sense. Like this girl's trying to bully her, and it's like, dude, you're making her look like a victim. Chill out. That was the biggest thing I wanted to talk about. Yeah, that girl is so. It's the picture of the problem of modern day debate. People don't want to have an actual conversation, and it kills any conversation. As for like the trad wife or like going out and like pursuing your own dreams, it kind of goes back to that thing of like when you're a kid, I mean, everything's just handed to you on a platter, right? Mom and dad pay for everything, except now you're just letting your husband pay for everything, right? But it's like as an adult, we're like, oh no, I kind of don't want to do that. I want to be able to make my own choices, and that's why we get away from like. Well, I advocate for people to go away from like the traditional like house style thing. Are we ever gonna have stay-at-home dads? No, it's not gonna be a thing, because like what Kamal was saying, dude, no, like bro, we can barely live with 2 income households, let alone with like 1. And yeah, he's right. That's why I was snapping my fingers. Dude's just been straight facts.
Well, I think if we have equal pay for women, which we don't in the workplace, I think we could. Because women, I think, I mean, all the women I know in this arena, boss babes, skeptic, Mia, myself, Kelly, boss babes, very intelligent, hardworking, doing the grind and working harder than some men in this. Men that I've come across. I'm just talking about just in this alone. I'm not even talking about my real job. So I feel like if we had equal pay, equal playing field, men would do it. But
I know. I have
maybe
a friend
not because of ego. Mm-hmm.
One of my friends had a baby, and her husband was a detective, and he was overwhelmed with his job, and he actually quit his job and was a stay-at-home dad. She was an accountant, and she brought in the money, and then she got promoted. She didn't know she was going to get promoted, but she was promoted to CFO. So he just ended up just retiring and sticking to being a stay-at-home dad. So I do
Are
know
they together still, skeptic?
They are still together as of now. So that was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, the occasions do happen. I think it's more about how your relationship is set up per se. Because if you have a healthy relationship, in reality, like when I look at myself, like in my situation, we joke around about it, and I'm always like, if I was ever to like make more money, my husband's like, I would gladly retire. Like I would gladly quit my job, and you can go work, and I can just stay home. And it's like, I feel like it's more about your relationship and how healthy you guys are, and like if you guys are, if you are financially stable, because we plan, for example, when we bought our house and when I was going to have a child. Like, I'm a planner. I'm not just going to like jump into something, but we planned for me to not be working and for everything to still our life to continue to be comfortable while I had my daughter. And then because I breastfed her only, so she didn't like formula or anything like that. So I decided I didn't want to work that first year. So I feel like if you kind of plan ahead and you have a good plan and you're in a healthy relationship, I think that you can do a lot of things. You'd be surprised what all you can do. You obviously are not going to live the most lavish lifestyle, you know, because we had to not take as many trips, but we were able to, for me to take off working for a while when my daughter was little, and then we could like get back into it, you know? So I do think like it depends on how you look at it, but realistically speaking, like from a standpoint of like the average person who maybe if you accidentally get pregnant or whatever happens, like 2 incomes is probably what you're going to need. You know what I mean? We have to be like kind of sensible and to not try and put pressure. Women, we're like, we base our realities on what the social, like what's the social norm, and telling women that your husband should be the only one working and you should be staying home, I think is going to be detrimental to the health of a lot of relationships. So I do think you have to be realistic. You can't just come home and be like, hey, I heard this on YouTube. Like, I'm gonna retire. You need to work. You need to make the money. Like, you know.
The thing, I totally agree that in situations where like you're already in a relationship and then something happens such that you can retire early, and like you said, if it's a healthy relationship, yeah, I think that these are going to be, you know, exceptions to the rule. But like, you know, imagine you're trying to meet somebody, right? As you know, let's say like a heteronormative guy to girl interaction, and then you go up to her and say, yeah, like I want to be a stay-at-home dad. You know, like women are making good amounts of money, right? Like my dream is to meet like a girl who's like a lawyer, and then I'll stay at home. And the chances of this guy finding a girl who's gonna want that is like non-existent, right? Because men and women have two totally different standards when it comes to the initiation on dating, and generally the standards for guys are, is she hot, right? It's that, and then girls are much more, I'm gonna say, smarter. They're a lot smarter with how they pick men that they want to be with. 'Cause it's like, okay, like, are you good at socializing? Do you have a stable income? Do you take care of yourself? Right? You know, they look at much more holistic things versus guys are like, oh, she's hot, so I'm dating her, right? And
Ethan,
that's why I don't think that's the stay-at-home dad's gonna be a thing.
Ethan, thank you for coming. You were a great guest. You gave us some dating coach advice. Good luck on the tour. What's your final thoughts? And what did you think of the new party?
Yeah, okay. So final thoughts. One, I want to say that y'all are a really awesome panel. I'm happy to be up here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great crowd. And it's real relaxed. I like how we don't have to like tiptoe over what I say, which is a really big problem with a lot of like people on the left. Okay, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, this is an awesome time. I'll give a shout out to my TikTok. You can find me on TikTok at I'm officially Ethan, and me and other creators. We're going to be going to Tampa, Florida on July 12th for the Unfuck America event. Go to unfuckamericatour.com to get tickets for it. And honestly, I hope to see y'all at the summit event. I'll DM the people here who are all going. And I would love to run into you guys, and we can like film some content. I would love to see you guys at that place. So that's gonna be sick.
For sure, Ethan. Looking forward to seeing you. Enzo, what's your final thoughts?
So it was another great episode, like I always say. We went over a couple of good things about spoke about the alligator Alcatraz. Like I said, I'm still on the fence about it. Let's see what the environmental things happen with it. It's Candace Owens. I mean, yeah, like we said in the beginning, I think women should stop following Candace Owens and going exactly with what she says. People should be able to think for themselves instead of just looking to influencers. That's how I think about all influencers. And what else? All I gotta say is shout out to Nora, Mia, the new party cast. I mean, get you some friends like Nora and Mia and everybody that I have around me. I can't even go take a nap for 5 hours without them sending out an SOS and figuring out what's wrong with me, why I didn't go on live. So that's all I gotta say. Everyone get you some good friends that actually care about you guys.
For sure.
It was Lexi too. Shout out to Lexi
Yeah.
because she led the charge.
No, she did. Yes.
Skeptic, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, if you are on TikTok, I just want to shout this out. We are currently having this live on Casso's platform. So I host a live with Casso and King J. Casso is hosting a live right now on TikTok. Just look him up. It's Casso, Casso. The topic is FBA / ADOS. If you know, you know. And it is popping off. It is popping off. So yesterday night, so I had brought up the topic and he was like, what? And as soon as I brought up the topic, FBA people popped up. I mean, 5 minutes after. And then
How late y'all going, Skeptic? I want to come.
You should come right after this. I'm literally like going right there after. So yesterday at 11 he was like, okay, I'm turning it off. So tomorrow I think that I'm going to cover FBA and ADOS. As soon as he said that, not even 5 minutes later, his panel was full of FBAs and it went off until midnight. So today he was like, I'm going to start early. I ended my live early so that we could like get it going, and he wanted to get some material together. So right now it is currently going on, and when I tell you that it is the most entertaining thing ever, like it is so entertaining.
Kamal, you need to go.
So so definitely go and hit that up. I will post it on my story if you already follow me on TikTok, skeptic.tm. I've changed my name officially to stop being the Funny Debate Club. So it is going to go off, and you guys, our lives here recently have been very lively. So definitely go and check us out. And like I always say, don't let anyone trample on your constitutional rights.
FBA Kamal, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, we in the building. Foundational Black Americans. We bring the sauce, you feel me? Nah, but shout out to Ethan, man. Thank you for coming on the panel, Berber. You feel me? And good luck with the Unfuck America tour. You feel me? Catchy ass name. You know what I mean? Shout out to the panel. I appreciate y'all. You know, Enzo, Skeptic, Nora, Gray. Always learn something new. I didn't know they had goddamn Panthers in damn Florida like that. That's something crazy. And it's a hockey team named after it. Shout out to my brother Byron for telling me that. You feel me? Shout out to the panel, man. Y'all was funny, man. Doc, goddamn, you funny as hell, bro. You out here cracking me up, man. But Wana, you funny too, bro. Sometimes I gotta get past the bushmeat must. You feel me? But you funny, bro. All right.
Lord.
With that being said, y'all hit that notification bell for the new party. Also put the link to the show on the top of my chat, so y'all go follow the new party and hit that notification bell for them. All right. My final thoughts is this. Some of them feminists up there that was talking to Candace Owens, y'all is making Griftoria look like not only a saint, but look like she know what the hell she talking about. I was like, man, some of y'all came with some great points, but most of y'all was just up there trying to get a viral moment, like that one lady that had the eyeliner like she was in the Black Swan. I'm just like, the thing about it though, like I keep saying, man, Candace Owens, she's a grifter. A broken clock is always twice, you know what I mean, right twice a day. You know what I mean? Another thing, I know y'all might find this surprising, but what's good, Keith? What's good, brother? Did y'all know a white man founded feminism? It was a white Frenchman.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, what? That's like Victoria's Secret. I always thought a woman made those goddamn lingeries and stuff. No, the brother named Victor. He was like, you know what? How I'm gonna get him? I'm gonna name myself Victoria. Same thing with feminism. Charles Fire, whatever the hell his Frenchman name is, came up with feminism. That's wild to me, you know. And then the last thing I would have to say is the Alcatraz alligator. I don't think that'll happen because I don't know how the hell you gonna train the alligator. That was impressive. Enzo rock bottomed the alligator and caught one when he was little, brought it to his school. That was impressive, bro. I was like, damn. But I will say this, my Florida people, I love y'all and stuff, but stop molesting the alligators if that's what y'all think. That's all I gotta say.
For sure. My closing thoughts. Thank you, Ethan, for coming as a guest and giving us your insight. Enzo, I was worried about you too. I heard about that you were gone, so Nora did contact me, so I was worried too. Shout out to the panel. It was a great discussion, and like Ethan was saying, like you can't really talk to people, and that's why we have the new party where everyone can talk, and all of these guys on here are like Enzo and Skeptic are like TikTok live people. They talk to people all day. So like the new party is trying to change that. So we do this every Monday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Catch us again tomorrow where we'll be having a man cave. Like we always say, a new party, always vote. Nora?
Okay, guys, my closing thoughts is this. We are on Diddy Verdict Watch. Everybody, I need you to hit that notification bell. Tomorrow at 12, we are going live. I'm hopeful that we will have a verdict. 4 of the 5 charges have come back. As I predicted, they are hung up on the RICO. My prediction is this: not guilty on RICO, guilty and on the other 4 counts. I heard Diddy is literally pissing his pants. He had a very upset look on his face. So come back tomorrow. And my closing thoughts in relation to this is the feminist movement taught women to see themselves as victims of an oppressive patriarchy. Self-imposed victimhood is not a recipe for happiness. And I stand on that. I do believe feminist movement was needed to advance us as women to some extent, but the train has gone. We need to jump off the train. I don't agree with the red pill, but at the same time, I do believe in healthy marriages with a man and a woman. If you're gay, I'm not against that. But what I'm saying is we need healthy marriages. We need healthy homes for our children. And I think that the toxic red pill and the toxic feminists are preventing that from happening. We need to take ownership. Broken clocks are right twice a day. Don't be pygmishas either. Don't be sitting there on these red pill lives as women and saying, yeah, women are like that. You got to stand up to the patriarchy to some extent and respect men, but at the same time, stop with the toxic masculinity, stop with all the toxicness. And yeah, come back tomorrow at 8 p.m., support the Man Cave, but step in first at 12 p.m., lunch with the new party as we're on Diddy Verdict Watch. That's my closing thoughts. God bless, good night, and go support